So in today's video, we'll have a look at this over here, which is a trading journal I want to review. I want to give you my thoughts on this from Karen Foo, one of my good trader friend who I've met a couple of times in Singapore. She gave me this book. I didn't have a chance to look at it until today. We'll have a look through this. I'll give you my thoughts and who it's for and go through the sections of this book. Let's dive right in. Okay, so let's have a look here at what this journal is all about. So this is the first page when you open it up. You've got this over here. Then you have the table of content. We'll go through all these together. A lot of stuff to go over here. So bear with me for a second. We'll start with the first part here, which is called the risk assessment in this training journal. So what this is it's a questionnaire that you can go through at your own time. It's kind of fun to figure out what's your best type of trading. Like what's your best trading style? Are you more a better scalper, day trader, swing trader, position trader? And then you answer these questions, which are kind of funny, kind of pretty cool. Not sure how good they work, but I think it's pretty accurate. Then you get your score. Then I will tell you how many points you have. And based on these points, whether you are a better risk taker, like a scalper, day trader, hybrid, swing trader, position trader, and so on. So kind of cool. It's a good way to start a book because you can actually know what you're best at. And that makes it kind of a cool thing to start with. And then you're able to figure out kind of how to go forward from this book. It's pretty cool. Now, this journal is a mix of a book, so like information, things you can read at your own pace, and also a journal where you can write your thoughts, write your trades. We'll kind of go through it. So the second part here is called the financial dream plan, which is kind of cool. Make a plan for your future, for your finances. So you got a nice kind of explanation here of what that's all about and what you got to kind of plan for your dream life. Begin with the end in mind, called by Steve Covey here. Pretty cool stuff. I'm not going to read through all this, but for you to be able to get the benefits, I'll show you kind of what we have over here so far. So this is where we have our dream plan. So we've got here, why do I want to become a successful trader? You write a one-liner statement. Cool stuff. Yearly percentage of return on investment target. Goals to achieve by the end of this year. Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? And where do I want to be in 10 years? Cool stuff. So most people don't make plans for this ever. It's kind of cool to have a book for this, especially related to trading. It's not just about like goals in general, but specific to trading. I think that stuff is pretty cool. So definitely like that stuff here. How do I spend my trading income? So things you might want to buy with it. And then action plan here on what you're going to do to become a better trader. Now you've got a quick here introduction to asset classes, which is if you don't know what you want to trade, if you should go with Forex or stocks or futures based on your personality, that stuff is cool to have. So here we go. We have this here, and this is where you kind of can read this part. What I want to get to here, that's I think the big highlight of this book is your trading plan. So it's a way for you to keep track of your plan and to be able to kind of see the strategies you can trade and different levels they are at. So it's kind of cool. And I love how this goes really in depth on those. So trading plan template is over here. Of course, you have some text on how to use it before, and you can just read through it. But we've got here, you got spaces for 8 strategies. You've got one here. If you go forward, we have a checklist for entry. So all the rules we need to enter a trade. When should I scale in the trade? Extra rules, remarks. And what I said is going really in depth on that is I like that they have checklists for non-entry. Like what makes it a bad trade that you should not jump in. Most books or most plans don't look into that. Checklist for taking profit. What's your rule for taking profit? If you see this, then you can take profit. If you see this, then you can take profit. If you have this, then you can wait longer. That kind of stuff is useful to think about because, a plan is sometimes a lot more simple. And we forget these things. So that's kind of cool to have. When should I take profits early? Cool question to ask yourself. When should I delay taking profits? When should I wait longer and take profits later? Cool stuff to think about. I never thought about it very much for my own strategy. When should I scale out? Kind of cool questions here. Like when's the right time we talked about scaling in before, but when's the right time to scale out and actually start to get out the trades progressively? Cool question. Checklist for cutting losses. Again, this is cool because when do we think about kind of cutting losses and when's the right time to do it? Sure, you have a stop loss, but is that the right place to take your losses? Maybe, but maybe not. It's cool to have this tool to write it down. Maybe even do some backtesting where you can go more in depth on that and have a clear answer for these questions. When should I move my stop to break even? How should I trail my stop, if any? Now, I like this part here because we have a risk management plan. And that's probably going to be based on your backtest. So let's say you fill in this plan, you have your strategy written down, you do a backtest of it, you know the stats behind it. You can write this down over here. Risk reward ratio, risk per trade, leverage use, margin, maximum drawdown allowed based on my rules or my personality. Sharp ratio, cool to have, very in depth. And then self-evaluation. I like that stuff because sometimes we don't reflect enough as traders Like we have these journals online, but they're not good enough to actually, it's not the same as writing down on paper. So you take out your pen, you write on this, much different experience than if you were to do it on your computer or just like a Excel spreadsheet or whatever. That stuff is really powerful here. How will I measure my trading performance? Because some questions here on how you will reflect and how you will actually look at your results, which is cool to have. Okay, then we get to strategy number 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. We got plenty of space for that. And that's kind of what I like about this book, is because it's not just like a one-page trading plan. It's actually a book of documented strategies. Now, if you want to do a one-pager later to kind of simplify things, you definitely can. But this is a more in-depth way to keep track of things and know what strategies you are able to trade now. Actually, forget what I said earlier. We have actually 10 spaces for strategies here, so 10 log of strategies, which is plenty for most people, I think. I like this journal here because we kind of go from setting things down, like we have our plan, we have our rules, we've got the personality before. Then we can actually use this as a trading journal, which is cool. And we'll get to the pros and cons in a few minutes, but I'm gonna go through this first because we can actually write down like all our trades here as we go forward. And you've got plenty of spaces. So page 96 all the way to 177 is only for writing trades. And at the end, you get your trading results where you can actually write month by month what your results are and any kind of remarks you might have. So this trade record or trade journal, however you want to call it, is kind of cool, right? You've got, first of all, the date. So write down the date of the day, time of entry, the risk percentage per trade, name of the pair or currency or stock, whatever you use, entry price, target price, stop loss, strategy used. If you have any strategies, you write it down over here. Outcome of the trade, profit, loss, break even, profit or loss in, I guess, dollar amount, and then the percentage of ROI on that trade. Now we go really in depth here. Reason for entry, reason it hits, you take profit, reason it hits, you stop loss if it did, good points for this trade, bad point for this trades, areas of improvement, how can you improve from it? What was I feeling when I'm doing this particular trade? What was I feeling during the market fluctuations? And what was I feeling once I've closed this trade? Now, can you see how in-depth this is? Like, this is really cool. Not the stuff that necessarily you would do as an advanced trader with multiple years of experience, but as a beginner trader, someone who's kind of newer to the market or just starting out on a strategy, you can learn some really good things about these questions. You can learn some subtleties or nuances about your strategy just by answering these questions right. And that's really cool to me. Like, you were able to go in depth and look at the market even better with a different perspective. And that makes it really cool. Okay, so I really like this framework here because we can actually kind of write down and think about our trades, think about how we felt in the moment, and figure out any areas we could improve on. I like this stuff a lot. Now, if you're a day trader, I get it. It's maybe hard to write this down every time if you take many trades a day. If you take a few trades or if you swing trade mostly, this is easy to fill in. And it's going to be a good reflection for at least a couple of trades a week to do that and kind of think about your whole trades and what they mean and how you can become better from your strategy. Like, very rarely do I go back on a trade and think, oh, well, why did this hit my stop loss? Or why did this hit my take profit so fast? How did I feel when I entered the trade? Or how did I feel when I was in the trade? When I thought I should close it, but I didn't close it? How did I feel at that point? Those things are useful to be self-aware, and self-awareness is all there is to trading overall. Then you've got your trading results here at the end of the book, and that's kind of it with this journal here. Any notes you might have, you can note this down here. I will maybe just like write down things I want to improve, or ideas I have for strategies I want to test. I always have these like ideas for different tests, and usually I kind of write them down on a small card like this here. But if you want to have something where you can keep track of, then that's probably better than my just small note card here. So then you can actually track it and have it all in one book. I mean, that stuff is definitely useful. We've got to the end of this journal here. I want to talk a bit about the pros and cons and who this is actually for. So what are the pros of this journal here? First of all, a couple of things. So I really like that it's a good way to organize your things for a new trader. If you have like different strategies you think about or different ideas, you want to have them organized better, or you want to organize your style, or you want to be able to organize your personality, your style into one book. I mean, this book is really powerful for this. It's really good. I also like that there's a big focus in this book on goal setting. So you're actually able to set goals and plan kind of like your ideal lifestyle. That stuff is really cool because I've not seen this in other books that I've reviewed so far for traders. Next point I would say is the price is really cheap on this. It's around $16 for this book, which is pretty cheap to me. I mean, for a whole trading journal you can write down on, it's a pretty cheap price, I would say. And lastly, it kind of makes you feel understand your strategy better. So when you can write it down in this, keep track of it over here, you know what you should trade. It makes your discipline easier because you don't have to think about, oh, what should I trade today? Can I trade the strategy or not? It's a lot more clear in that case. Now, that being said, there's a few things that I think could be a bit better. And I'm going to be very picky here because I know Karen is doing a lot of good work with this. And I want to kind of recommend a few things that I think are not deal breakers, but that could help this book become a bit better for traders. Okay, first things first is I'm gonna get very picky on this one, and I feel bad because this is like such a small detail, but the page number is sort of inside the page compared to the outside. So this might seem like a very small issue, but it's kind of annoying a little bit. Can you see how the page number is right here? Right, that is inside the page. So you've got to, if you split this page here, you see both pages number are there, 25, 26, which means that when you scroll through the book, like if you have the book half open and you just want to scroll through it, you won't be able to see the page number until you look like in depth over here inside. And that kind of makes it very tricky to look at the page number. So if you want to see something at page like 50 or page 90, then I gotta kind of go and see, oh, is it page 90 here? Oh, is it here? It's a bit different compared to the books I've seen before. Not a big deal, but I think something could be improved a little bit. There's also a soft cover on this book, which means that when I'm traveling, this would not be a good fit for any kind of suitcase or like travel, because it will kind of start to break and start to tear over time, and it will not be that nice. I did see they have a hardcover they sell on Amazon for this same book. So if you want to get the hardcover, that might be like maybe a few dollars more, but in my opinion, much better than the soft cover because you actually won't break it and you won't like flip and like the pages won't tear because you travel a lot or you keep it in your bag or whatever. So I like the hardcover better than the soft cover here. My last con, which to be fair, I wasn't sure if I should include it in this review here, is that it's a bit too simplistic. What I mean by this is it's really good for beginners, but it's not a good tool for advanced traders, people who are full-time necessarily, because there's a lot of things that beginners would do. Creating a strategy, finding out your ideal trading style, like entering your trades and finding out why they hit your stop loss. These are things that are valuable, but mostly for new traders who are new with the strategy or want to kind of get more self-awareness, want to understand more of the tools, want to understand better what they trade. That is a good book for this, but less for the advanced trader who's been doing it for a long time. The way this journal is built is good, but it's really good for people who are new to trading and want to have things like cleared out and understand things about the strategy. I don't think you would go through this journal like many times over the next 5 years. Maybe you do. Maybe you like that stuff. You want to kind of review your strategies and rewrite your edge and stuff. But in most cases, I think you wouldn't do that. So who this journal is for? Well, like I said, I think it's good for beginners, people who want to be able to create their strategy, write something down in this, enter their trades, track their P&L, figure out what it takes to become a profitable trader. This is a really good book for that. The fact that you can enter your trades every month and then at the end, calculate your performance and your returns. To me, that's really cool. I think that's better than having an Excel spreadsheet where you have no self-awareness and where you just like track your entry price and your exit price. Sometimes just the fact of writing it down with a good pen makes all the difference. So if you want to get this book, it's available on Amazon. Also, it's available on Karen Foo's website. I'll leave the link below. You can check it out. I believe it's like $16 on Amazon. And they also have the hardcover, which you can get as well. I want to share this here on YouTube because I believe people could use this book and get some good benefit out of it. I would love to see what you do with it. If you've tried this book already, tell me your feedback in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you think. And make sure to subscribe if it's not done yet. I publish these videos here 3 times a week. And I'll catch you back here in the next video pretty soon. Ciao.